What's up, everybody? I'm Eddie Young, and we're back with the Middle School Football Academy. We are with Kyle Dunn, who's going to present to us during our 2023.
Hey, Eddie, thank you for the intro. Cut out there for a second, but I just want to say thanks for allowing me this opportunity just to come on here and talk a little bit about football, and appreciate you all the legwork you putting in to make this happen, dude. This is awesome, and I appreciate the chance, and I'm excited to watch all the other ones too. So,
Yes, sir.
um,
I tell you, we've had a great day, but I think what you're about to present on is going to really help tie everything together, my brother. So I'm really excited about what you got tonight.
no, appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'd say what I'm gonna slide out your way and let you have it, brother.
Okay, so I'm gonna present my screen here. All right, is that coming through all right for you guys? Okay, good. So, I appreciate you guys coming on to talk, to listen to me speak about. It may be kind of a boring topic, but it's a topic that I really tried to focus on, and it's helping me out big time, and it's actually helped my teams perform better. And I'm going to kind of get into that, but I want to talk today about organizational organizational communication, especially with this generation, and just trying to be an effective leader, effective communicator with today's kids. They're obviously, it's a different generation, and modes and means of communication have changed, especially here in the last 10 years. And we as coaches, we got to make sure, we're always, pushing the envelope, doing what we can to reach those guys and those kids, and help them learn, help them achieve, and all that good stuff. So I'm just going to kind of go quickly through my, you know, uh, here's just kind of outline for me, background, just so you guys know where I'm coming from. I got bachelor's in elementary education. Uh, I'm also a English language arts teacher at the high school level. I got a master's in sports administration. In my Before my current role as head football coach at River Ridge High School, I was a head football coach and athletic director at Northwest Christian High School, and that's where I really kind of honed in on being an effective communicator and the difference it can make. And right now, I just took over a program. It's a bigger school, and it has about 110 kids in the program. So it's very important for me to make sure communication is dialed in. And I'm just hoping I could give you guys one or two things that's going to help you be a more effective communicator, because I found that if you could communicate well, especially through social media, through email, you're going to be, it gives you more time during practice, during football settings, to actually talk about ball, to actually coach. So that's what it's all about. Um, Kind of just get heads up on what's coming down the road for you guys. Talking about really what's communication, some practical ideas about graphic design, weekly newsletter, Google Drive, how I've done that. Learned a lot of things the hard ways, a couple practice planning ideas, and hopefully some drill tape if we could get there. I'll try to talk fast, but also be thorough at the same time. So let's talk about really communication, and it's something. I kind of had an aha moment really about right when I stepped into this new role, because it's quite a bigger school than I was used to, and it really, everything we do as coaches, it always boils down to communication. And the more communication, the stronger communication you could have with your players and your parents. Communication is actually rooted in the word community, and community is connectedness, and connected teams are stronger teams. They're built together, they stay together, and they play harder together. And if you are playing hard for each other, and because you're connected, uh, you're going to play well, and you're going to win more games. So it always roots back to being a good communicator, as a head coach or even an assistant coach, and to make sure everyone knows where you're coming from, the whys and the hows you want to accomplish whatever that is, the schedule, the logistics, all of those things, guys. It always comes back to communication and really trying to own communication. And you're going to have an offensive strategy, a defensive strategy, some special teams, all that great stuff that you've been learning about. But there's also you got to really understand that communication will make a big difference too. So, and that's something I've really focused on, and I've gotten really good feedback, and it's actually made my job easier because if I'm a good communicator on the front end through email, social media, I get less questions from parents, and it actually saves me some work down the road if I could make sure I'm just laying everything out there with accurate and good information there. So um, some special considerations, particularly for this generation, is it's a new generation. These guys who are in middle school and high school. They've grown up on tablets and iPads and social media. It's their world, and it's a lot different than even what I grew up with or you guys grew up with. And we gotta adjust accordingly to those societal changes. So, especially with COVID and kind of going through all that, it was really relying on digital communication. But nowadays, communication, especially for this younger generation, is primarily done digitally. And that's kind of a paradigm shift for myself. And I know a lot of you guys too, because we have been coached, coming up through playing football and our teaching and all of that is always face to face. It's always interpersonal communication, and nowadays that is a part of it. But really, the most communication you're gonna, the majority of your communication is going to be through email, social media, and other platforms like that. And I know that's different, but if you guys and we all have opinions on social media, but if we embrace that and understand that it's not going anywhere, and that if we want to be a better leader, a better really coach than the guy you're coaching against across the sideline, and this is one thing that you really need to make sure you got dialed in. So. And first off, the first thing to that is understanding that you got to have you got to have a communication game plan, a strategy, and you got to understand that this generation of guys and gals is a lot different. Not only the digital communication, but just the dynamics. There's a little more sensitivity. There's other ways, there's other waters we got to navigate as coaches and as teachers to make sure we're getting our message across, but also not hurting feelings or allowing things to be taken out of context, or any other pitfalls we might find ourselves in if we aren't thoughtful in how we communicate with our guys. So I only got about 30 minutes, guys. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but fast enough. And hopefully, like I said, I just want you guys to get one thing to help your program, to help you communicate, to help you at the end of the day win more ball games. That's what we're all trying to do. So my strategy, it really boils down to three things. It's about having variability, consistency, and accuracy. So if you're, and I'll go really into detail about how I go about that in a second. But if parents and players know where to find this stuff, they're consistently getting information and they know where to look for it, and that information is accurate, you're going to get more people going to practice. You're going to get great feedback from parents because, there's a lot of multi child homes, and parents are balancing and juggling a lot of different schedules and all the other busyness that comes with raising a middle schooler or a high schooler. And when you are just laying out a plan and you are reliable with your communication, they're going to love that. And when we get parents on your side, guys, it does also make it easier for you to coach, because now the parent, instead of bad mouthing you to their kid, which it happens, that's just the nature of the game. Now they're, speaking praises on your name because you're doing a really good job. You're doing the little things right. And that makes their jobs as parents easier because now they got their schedule dialed in because of you communicating the plan. And I've learned the hard way that, last second changes aren't fun. Things fall through the cracks very easily if you don't have a plan for this. And I'm just hoping you guys maybe can avoid some of these pitfalls that I found myself in. So the first thing is availability. And like I mentioned before, close to 90 some percent of high schoolers are on Instagram and other social medias. And it's about, I think last time I checked, it was about 81% of middle school age students are on some form of social media. So that is where our players spend their time on their phones. They're on social media. So we could say what we want about social media. I know it's there's a lot of downfalls and negatives to it, and I agree with you 100%. But that's not going to change the fact that that's where they are. So we as coaches got to make sure we adapt and we can do what we can so we can still coach them on their social media, on their digital platform, on their digital space that they interact with each other. It used to be in the cafeteria, kids would hang out, and they still do that. But now that hangout type place is expanded onto a social media platform, and just like a coach can insert himself into a table at lunch and talk, chop it up with his players. There's no reason why you can't. And there's going to be some boundaries that you got to make sure not to cross. And different districts have different policies on generally like not following kids, but they could follow you in as long as you are clear about what the profile is meant to do. It's a public profile. And I'll kind of get into how I do that. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. But anyway, make it available by meeting them where they're at. They're on social media. So if you want to be an effective communicator with kids these days, you got to be on social media. There's no way around it. And once that, and give them an easy, site or platform to navigate and find information. So it's easily accessible within 1 or 2 clicks. And I use that. Have a lot of success with Linktree, and kind of get into that in a second here. So being available, meeting them where I'm at. Here's an example of, my personal, it's just a coaching Instagram, and it's not like I'm not trying to increase other coaches to follow me. This is only really for my players and maybe other school administrators, so they know what to expect. They know what's happening with River Ridge football, and they know where to find it, and they know that I'm going to be consistently delivering information onto this platform. And I really cannot emphasize that enough, guys, especially Instagram. Like, Instagram is by far and away the most popular social media, and it's only getting bigger. So if you haven't already, I really want to recommend you creating your own just coaching specific Instagram. A lot of you already probably do have an Instagram, but it'll really help you get your message across, reach a really big chunk of your players. So when they do find your Instagram profile, right, they're going to know who you are, your name, your title, where you're at. And on your profile, you're going to be able to post a link. So I post this Linktree link on every social media I have. And this Linktree makes it so easy because it's going to be a one-stop shop. All of the pertinent information, all of the calendars, the sign-up forms, anything that our player or parent might need to know, they could always find it on that link. That link is always going to be accurate. And, since it's a live living link, I could change it so that I could always make sure it's up to date, if that makes sense to you guys. Like I said, it's easy to find. So I'm also very strong into having a strong email presence, making sure I'm consistently delivering emails, and I'm sending out a lot of emails. And I'm also going to throw that Linktree link onto my my signature on my email. So with every email I'm sending, that link, parents could click on the football Linktree, and they have anything they need to know related to River Ridge football is right there. So they don't have to search a bunch of different tabs, a bunch of different links. It's all right there. And I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. But just a couple things for you guys right off the bat, practical advice, right? Put the link tree, create a link tree, and put it into your signature, put it into all your social media platforms, and that's going to make you available. That's going to be easy to find and easy to navigate, and that's half the battle right there. It's just training your parents, your players on knowing where to go with, where to find stuff. Right. Excuse me. So here's actually a screenshot of an example of our link tree we use, and so we got our youth football camp next week, and that's the top of the registration. But the Hawks football calendar, the newsletter sign up, the schedule, everything that a parent would need to know or a player would need to know, in terms of where to be, when to be. I've also done things like put the link to our spring football parent meeting slides. So if parents can't make it to the actual meeting, at least I could throw my slideshow up here. And now I'm communicating, since I'm not communicating in person, I'm still communicating, my vision for the program, my expectations, all that stuff. But now it's done digitally through Linktree. And the more you communicate, the clearer it is, guys. I promise you, you're going to get better the feedback, because parents, administrators, other teachers, they want to know. They don't want to search high and low to find the schedule, to find the calendar, to figure out where to be and when to be there. They want 2 clicks, and they want to find their information. And if you can make it, train them on finding where to go, it's going to make your job a lot easier, because now you're not going to be responding to 10, 15 emails a day. Everything's a little different for every program, but if you know what I'm saying, if parent, it's going to save you a lot of work by making it easy. So you're not going to have to explain yourself over and over again on what time's practice at, where's practice at, et cetera, et cetera. So that's number 1, is being available and easy to find, easy to navigate. Okay. Being consistent is another huge part of communication. And so if you just set up your link tree and leave it there, that'd be great. But if you really want to be the most effective communicator as possible as you could be, you got to be routinely communicating with parents. And I know that sounds daunting, and sometimes you're like, I don't know exactly what I want to say or how I want to say it. But if you just establish a routine, even if you are repeating yourself weekly and the schedule is redundant, at least that platform will make them trust that the information is going to be there every Monday, so they don't have to, ask you for it. They know an email's coming, even if the schedule hasn't changed in 4 weeks. At least you're laying it out day by day, where to be. And also within that email, you could, or newsletter, however you want to do that, and I'll show you some ideas on how I do it. You could also, recognize players, talk about other, team events that are coming up, team dinners, addresses for games, directions, all that, those little things, guys. If you are consistently sending out an email once a week, some guys like to do it on Friday afternoon. I send my weekly email out Monday morning, and some days, some weeks is really brief, and other weeks I have to go in a little more detail, because if it's a bigger week, a busier week. But having an consistent plan, so parents can expect when they're going to be communicated with. So you're not going to be getting parents randomly asking you about, one thing here, one thing there. They know whatever the plan is for that week, they're going to get that Monday morning, and they know that's coming. So that's going to be huge for you guys when it comes to parent communication. So like I said, I do a weekly newsletter, and I also publicize the weekly schedule on social media. So if you could see right here, going back to our Linktree profile, and Linktree, guys, it's super easy to set up. Just go to linktree.com, set up a URL, and it could be for anything, and start just throwing those links in there, and you'll have a really easy way to reach parents. So back to the Linktree. If you could see here on the right-hand side, there is a football newsletter sign up, and that'll just take parents to a Google form. They enter their email, and then that form will populate in a Excel document, and through that Excel document, you can easily copy and paste and put all those parent emails into one, you know, BCC, blind carbon copy, so everyone's remaining anonymous. Now you have an easy way to quickly communicate with the whole program, all your parents in one fell swoop. So the biggest thing is getting those parents signed up, those players signed up, your assistant coaches signed up, so that weekly they're getting the up-to-date information, the most accurate information, and you're kind of getting the whole message across. So there's no, it's all clear. The biggest thing is, guys, you got to be clear, and you got to have, you could over communicate. I promise you, don't think you're going to bombard parents with information. They don't want to not be in the loop. They want to know where to drop their kids off, where to pick their kids up, when to pick them up. Okay. And you're never going to get a complaint saying you communicate too much. You're going to get a communicate saying, I don't know what's going on because I haven't heard email from you or anything like that in 3 weeks. So just a couple things to remind, to keep in mind. So like I said, weekly newsletter and publicize just the weekly schedule on social media. Here's an example of the newsletter sign up, right? And Google Forms. It's a free platform. I highly recommend you getting a Google email just so you can access all the Google Drive stuff. And guys, I use it every day. It's free, and it makes my job of communicating with the whole entire program, like you said, 110 players, with all the parents and all the coaches, all the moving pieces. It's a part of the job that if it's not taken care of, it's going to really come back and haunt you. So making sure you're getting those emails through the Google form. Then once you got those emails, then you could communicate really well. So the biggest thing is, like I said, getting them signed up through the Google form, putting the link to the form in the link tree, boom, it's right there. Now they got their email. And along with that, so now they got, you got their email, you got everything. Now you just got to figure out what to send them. This is an example of the weekly newsletter I actually sent out. This is just happened to be yesterday's, and it's kind of a lighter week for our program. But even with that said, I could still explain the plan, explain that we need guys there, explain when and where it's going to be. And if you notice, I could have easily just said Monday through Friday, we're doing a team workout from 11 to 1 p.m. And that would have been great. But I just feel like the more detail you could give, and because not, especially when you get into the season, a Monday is going to look different than a Tuesday. A Tuesday might look different than a Wednesday for times and bus departures and other pertinent information. I would always individualize each day, go day by day, what they need to bring. And just doing this, guys, it'll really help you get numbers, because now you'll be surprised how many guys I find just arriving and making things just because they know that they know the plan and it's getting communicated with them. I can't stress that enough. So we're trying to organize and communicate. This is a huge tool for me. And the process really is quite simple. I open up, going back to our Google Drive, open up a Google document, write it up, and I like to get a little fancy with throwing a word mark and just making it a little presentable. But that's definitely not necessary. And so now I got a document. I download that document, and getting ahead of myself. And also, if a weekly newsletter is a little too, once you get in a groove, you could really bust this out in about a half hour. But if even that's too time consuming, or you want to try a different mode to communicate, just this is an example of my Instagram story. You could also do that. We also post this on Facebook, and it's basically the weekly schedule for the players to see, and for parents to see. And so there's no questions about when they're supposed to be where, etc. So through the newsletter, sending that to email, and through social media platforms, all this information is getting dispersed. It is back on the players. It is not on you as the coach. You did your job. So now, and that's all you can do as a coach, is just do everything in your power to make sure everyone's on the same page, everyone's clear about the directions, then from there, we're going to be able to have good practices and have a good time and build. But if if you can't get turnout because kids don't know where to be, when to be, then it's going to really make your job really tough, and it's going to be really frustrating for yourself and parents. So we're just trying to avoid you guys getting in the doghouse with parents because it's not fun. So a couple examples: newsletter, Instagram story. Something that I really like to do is because not everyone has a Google account. Sometimes if you just try to share a document as a Google Doc, you're going to have some students with student accounts are going to get bounced because their email address doesn't match. Some Outlook accounts, I just ran into problems with that. So, and I've learned the hard way on the best way to do this, but I want to share with you guys how to make a document like a newsletter into a website that it's just a link they could click, and now they got access to the newsletter. And then you could post that link in the email, and you could also post it on social media. So the first step is to once you get your document, your weekly newsletter all typed up, plan for the week, when, where, why, how, all that good jazz. Then you want to download it as a PDF. Okay, go to your Google Drive. On the top left-hand corner, there's going to have this file upload. You're going to click that. It's going to let you upload that file as a PDF. Okay. Once that file's uploaded, it's going to show up in your drive. And for me, it shows up in list form. There's other ways you could organize it, but so this was the latest newsletter I sent on yesterday, the 10th, and now that's a PDF. That is now a link. You're going to click that link. You're going to click that button where it says get link. That's going to give you a web address. And then from there, you're going to be able to share that link. So now anyone could easily access that PDF, no matter if they're on a phone, no matter if they have an Outlook email or a Gmail account or anything else like that. They're going to easily be able to find a document. And, I just figured that one out within the last few months. And that might be obvious to some of you guys who are a little more advanced with tech, but I really it's all about, accessibility. So breaking down any barrier anyone might have from reading the newsletter, this is the best way anyone could access a link. And it's, like I said, man, it always goes back to clear communication. So another thing, especially, I learned being an AD through the COVID, all that stuff we had to work through, is I'd print out a calendar or a schedule, I give it out, feel really good about it. And the next day, there'd be a new guidelines, especially out here in Washington. It was changing literally every day. And, different restrictions, different things, it just made it impossible for me to give a paper copy of a schedule, just like we've always done it. So, I went away with, and I really found a lot of success with just referring people back to live documents, not stagnant documents, not documents that are saved as PDFs. If I'm going to schedule a game, give a schedule out or a calendar, I'm going to make sure that I have the ability at any time to make changes and for those changes to be instantly reflected in the calendar. So a couple of ways I do that really, guys, is if you're not familiar with the platform Canva, I have the premium version of Canva. It's $15 a month. I know that's a little pricey, but I use Canva for so many different things. It's the best $15 a month I spend just because how reliant I am on this platform. And you could easily get away with the free version of it and do 90% of what you want to do, or there's some extra graphics things, different features with that, with the paid version of it. But nevertheless, what I've really found, Canva, their ability to make it, if you could see here, I don't know if my cursor is showing up, but it says view only link. Whatever document you create, you can make any document into a website. And once like I said, now that this document is a live living link, whatever changes are made in the schedule will be automatically reflected. then, that link is never going to change. So that link is always going to be in the Riveridge or whatever your program's link tree. So it just makes it really easy for me to provide always accurate, up-to-date information. So if I want to schedule a scrimmage, within a week, traditionally that would be super hard because I give out, calendars months in advance, and that's locked in, and people make plans off of that. But if I announce in the newsletter, put it on the calendar, now we're all clear, and changes like that can easily be made without causing a big uproar. Which I don't know if you guys have ever experienced it, but people don't like last minute changes. They don't like things all of a sudden different than what their document had said. So easy way to avoid that, and it's a really cool tool, is just using Canva, making websites, and you could do so much with that. And I could really just talk about that for an hour if I could. I know I'm running out of time. A couple more things, guys. So like I mentioned, I don't publish stagnant documents. Instead, you could go to Office Depot and make your own card, print your card. I printed, I think 350 business cards, one-sided, for $20. And, again, through Canva, I made a business card, which they have templates. They make it so easy for you guys to do. You could there's different ways to generate a QR code, get a QR code for whatever, your link tree is. And so, I tell my parents, players in my program, here's the card, right? Put this card in your fridge. That link, okay, is always going to be up to date and accurate. And since its link tree is it's easily changed and edited, this QR code will never change. The content on that link may change, but so I just got to give my parents the one card with a QR code for them to scan, and they keep that, in their wallet or on the fridge or wherever it might be easily accessible. And now, within, I'm always at an arm's length. They always get access up-to-date information. And like I said, guys, you can't over communicate. You can't make it too easy for parents to understand how to communicate and understand how to reach you. And like I said, I promise you, it'll save you. It sounds like a lot of work, but depending on how big your program is going to save you a lot of time responding to emails and getting back to people on phone calls or text messages, however it is. If you could just throw it all out on the front end, train your parents, train your players on where to find information, you're going to have really good communication, and really teach your players that communication is everything. So they got to communicate. I got to communicate to you. You got to communicate to me. All that stuff. It's a huge value in our program, and just the topic of communication, I don't think it's really emphasized enough or talked about enough. It's going to make or break your program. I really believe that. Couple of things. I know that's kind of boring stuff, and it probably won't apply. You probably won't, necessarily need all of that stuff. I just wanted to give it there to you. But a couple, I would be remiss if I didn't talk a little bit about the game itself and just some ideas, especially as they relate to middle school football. Okay, it always boils down to offensive execution and defensive instincts. So what I mean by execution is knowing where, if offensive line knows exactly where to step, when to step, where's the double team, where's the kick out, all those details, they take a lot of time. On the defensive, I feel like it's different. You just want them instinctively reacting to an offensive stimuli. So, with that in mind, a lot of I feel like mistake coaches make a lot of time is they have half their practice devoted to defense, half their practice devoted to offense, 50-50 split. In my mind, I always felt like offense needs more time. There's more details. There's a little more memorization. Okay. And the best defenses are the fastest defenses, and the fastest defenses are the simplest defenses. I promise you, at the middle school level, you could get away with playing cover one and cover zero and just playing man and telling your boys to get after it. and that's all you need to do, and you'll play fine defense. And you really don't need a lot of time to practice the actual scheme. Your defensive practice could really be focused on developing, the fundamental skills, especially tackling. Offensively, it takes a little more time, takes some reps. It takes, seeing different defensive looks, all that stuff. So just when you're thinking about practice planning, I wouldn't just automatically assume that you need to spend half your time worrying about defense, half your time for offense. Really, I think really offense needs about double the time defense is done. If you have 90 minutes, you probably only need 30 minutes of defense and an hour of offense. So just some food for thought. Couple things, just kind of breaking down a play. Offensive always starts with the ball. Defense is reacting, and it kind of goes back to offense needs to execute whatever their assignment is, and all defense needs to is react and play downhill. So as a coach, I got to train these instincts. And I got to train the instincts on the things that happen, no matter the play, no matter the specific play or coverage or scheme we're running, no matter what, to be successful in defense, we're going to have to defeat blocks, and we're going to have to stop share, present, share screen. All right. Or like I just mentioned, it's all, two things a defense will have to do no matter what is defeat a block, whether that's a pass block, and it's going to have to make a tackle and finish the tackle. So I think just some drills that I've really gotten a lot out of, and I just wanted to show you guys because I really believe in them, and I do them no matter what level. We have our second graders through our 12th graders all doing these drills. So this one is just basic partner hand fighting, and this one is just training that muscle memory of using your hands. Your hands as a defender is your best weapon. One partner, pair these kids up, okay? Reach one arm across, and all it is backhand, push, replace. Then the other person does backhand, push, replace. And the goal is just to go as fast as possible. And some of these guys get really good and really fast. And what that does is just train the hands to get these guys to understand, instead of just running into a blocker, your hands are your best weapons. Don't let the block, if they can't block you, the defense will always win. And so we got to have a plan for defeating those blocks. Here's another example. Boom, boom. Replace, up. And this stuff we could do inside, outside, padded, non-padded. And it's just going to develop those instincts. Got a couple more. A couple freshmen going at it. So there's that one. Okay. And so there's a lot of different techniques to defeat a block. I think just going all in on one move is the most effective way that you could teach, your whole team how to defeat a block. And for me, it's always been the dip and rip. And that's basically you throw a hand, opposite hand with the hips, create separation. Okay, then just grab grass, get under it, get under the block, square up and make a tackle. So here we go. Not a very good rep, kind of a lazy rep. Here we go. So notice this guy. Hopefully it's showing up through the stream pretty well. But throws a hand, separates, and that rip's coming through. And like I said, it's kind of a progression from the hand fighting to the dip and rip. And this is just beating into their heads that they got to use their hands to defeat a block. If they can't be blocked, we're gonna have an unstoppable defense. And there's ways to defeat any block. So many times kids just give up their chest way too easy, and they get blocked. If they can't touch you, they can't block you. Buzzing through. Okay, so now two more drills. Tackling focused is the first is an open field one-on-one tackle, and like I said, this is not the best tape, but hopefully you could at least understand the concept of the drill. So just real quick, so you know, there is a 4 cones separate, kind of organized in a diamond fashion. Ball carrier and tackler, they start hip to hip. They each hit their respective cones. Then the tackler needs to sprint, come to balance, aka break down, and get in good position to make a tackle. And this is a great drill just for training open field tackle, buzzing the three, running through, and just like the hand fighting and the dip and rip, this could be done in any setting. Obviously, ideally, it's on grass with cleats, with pads, but we could easily do a tag off in the gym, a tag off with just helmets, and all it does is training these guys on how to break down, where to put the shoulder, and when is the appropriate time to come to balance, because a lot of times guys will break down way too early and kind of stop their feet. A lot of times they're going to just run right into the ball carrier out of control and be really susceptible to the juke. So just training these instincts, guys, making it muscle memory so that they're not even thinking about making a tackle. They've done this so many times throughout the course of the year. And this is a drill we do every day. Like I said, it shows up during every play, no matter what the scheme are running, the offensive play, they're going to have to make a tackle. So a couple more examples. These are not the best, but you guys kind of get the point of the drill, right? Come to balance, let the ball carrier make a move. And also on the other end of that, it also helps train our ball carriers on a good, taking care of the football, good mechanics in that way too. So not only this is a defense drill, but also you could coach up your guys on the proper technique of ball carrying, all those things. And last but not least, my favorite drill of all time is the compression tackle 2-versus-1 drill. This is so good. If you watch a game, just try to pay attention to how many times a 2-on-1 tackle is made, and having these guys understand where to put their shoulder, where their leverage is at, where their help's at. It shows up in so many different ways, right? So the goal of this drill is basically the cones can be set up in the same fashion as the one-on-one tackle drill. So we got cones on each side, cones 5 yards apart. Okay, the two tacklers are attacking one cone. The ball carrier is turning around, getting the other cone, and basically all they're trying to do is keep their outside arm free and force the ball carrier to go into their partner. So it's a tackle drill, but it's a team tackle. So if this guy, he sees the ball carrier breaking towards and this helps us with our defensive terminology and our defensive language, because we just call this, this is our force drill. So if you're the first person to the ball, you're forcing it out here. So they all understand that term. They got to keep that outside arm free, use your help, tag off, see shoulder pad to hip placement. Beautiful. Here we go. Same thing, cheating the drill. The biggest thing is I tell these guys all the time, and it's a tough drill for them to really understand. But once they get it, I promise you it's beautiful. I promise you it's going to show up in your games. But keeping their outside arm free, and if they're going to get juked, make sure they get juked to the inside. Like, give them the inside all day, because that's where your help is. So, here we go. Stay, make sure you can do anything you can. Last one. Boom. Okay. So just a couple reps of that. Anyway, let me get back to. That's about all I got for now, guys. Like I said, thanks for tuning in. If I could ever be of assistance, please feel free to reach out. You could find me on Instagram or Twitter, FB Coach Dunn, and my email is fbcoachdunn@gmail.com. And I love talking ball with coaches, and it's my favorite thing. So don't hesitate. And anything I can do to help you, or I can go into more details or anything like that, I'm here for you guys. So anyway, thank you again, Coach Young.
Coach Dunn, thank you so much. I'm gonna tell you right now, those your link tree idea and the stat, especially the QR code, we are definitely going to take that, because I actually posted up there. I wholeheartedly agree with you. You'll never get a complaint that you communicate too much. The more, especially with this generation of parents, the more information you can give them, the better. And what's great about it is, they talk amongst themselves. And eventually someone's going to say, oh, well, I didn't know about that.
Mhm.
But then the other parent's going to say, really? Well, Coach Dunn put it da 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 da. So I'm
Excellent.
telling you, you are preaching the gospel. So thank you, Coach, for this great presentation. I really appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you, man. This is awesome. Like I said, dude, this is really cool that you're putting this together, and it's a lot of hard work, man. So thank you.
Thank you, my guy.
All
All
right.
right, everybody, we got one more presentation left at 9 o'clock, and we'll see y'all then.